Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's something about that bell. It's amazing. Everybody's talking. All of a sudden, it's quiet as can be when you ring that bell. You know, it's worth being president just to hit that bell. Well, welcome, everybody. My name is Stephen Hammers, this year's president, and I am honored. That tickles me. And I am honored to be your president. Thank you very much. The meeting is going to be called to order, and we are going to have invocation by Steve Huff, pledge and four-way test by Bob Searcy. And Steve, all yours.
You'll bow with me, please. Dear Lord, we thank you for the blessings of the day. We thank you for this Rotary Club and for the willingness of our leaders to serve and to guide. Give them the wisdom and courage to lead us on paths that provide help and encouragement to those who are in need. We ask your healing hand on all those in our club who are experiencing health concerns, and your special blessing on those who are struggling for any reason. And Lord, as a country, we are splintered, we're fragmented, and so today we ask for unification and clearness of direction, and for leaders that are true to the concept of service above self. Through Christ we pray. Amen.
Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance Now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First.
Truth.
Second.
Fair to all concerned.
Third.
To put goodwill, better friendships.
Fourth.
Be beneficial to all concerned.
And fifth.
Yes, we do. Our lovely Jennifer Wayne introducing our guest and visiting Rotarians.
We have one very special guest today, Erin Grimmett, and she, do you want to introduce yourself? You have like 10 seconds.
I'll talk really fast. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Erin Grimmett, and I am so honored to be here today. This is the first time I've ever attended a Rotary Club meeting, but one thing that I loved when I was looking at your website is the work you have done with the Brentwood Baptist Home. I'm currently on the board for the Foster Care Review Board of Williamson County and getting ready to join Tennessee Alliance for Kids. And my husband and I have a huge heart for foster children. So thank you for allowing me to be here today.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Before we do Happy Bucks, we got a really nice letter from a lady named Bree Lovett. We had helped her. It was through Dick Dickerson's son, whose her son employs her. Their home, everything was ruined with a tornado. She sent us a really nice letter saying, I can't put into words how much your support has meant to me and my family during this tragic time. Your support, kindness, and prayers made a huge difference in me and my family, and we thank you and forever grateful. That's what we're all about. So it was really nice that we were able to help her on that. Her name is Bree Lovett. All right, Happy Bucks, Kip.
All righty, who's happy? It's Happy Bucks time. It's Rotary version of Venmo. Anybody? Oh, here we go. Let's go with Jordan.
Let me find my money first. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, my husband and I are expecting our first, and yesterday, that's part of it, but the big part was yesterday we had our midway anatomy scan, and little baby girl is growing strong and doing great. So very happy.
Woohoo, baby girl. Is there anyone else over here? Okay. Oh, Linus.
Glad to send my friend Rod Freeman back today. Thank you very much.
Jeffrey.
Notice that Steve had in the upcoming events up there, one of the major events is the RLI on October 4th in Dixon. I am a facilitator for RLI and have been for about 7 or 8 years. But this is an amazing program, and it's a great way that if you're just a Rotary Club member, to become a real Rotarian. So really think about that, and the club, I believe, will pay the tuition.
Mr. Rod. Oh, well, no, let's go Larry. Larry. No, Larry.
It's not your turn.
He's coming on the return.
Everybody that sent messages to me, I appreciate it. Phone calls. Glad to be back, and I'm going to drag this Leftley around with me for another couple months, and I'll be back at it. So thank you.
$5. You have to listen to me next week talk about the golf tournament. It would be a lot more fun to talk about if our 28 outstanding sponsors would come in before then. I've contacted everybody that has an outstanding sponsor, so you've either gotten an email from me or you've gotten a phone call. If you're one of those people, please call them your sponsor and get them on that $28 sponsors is a lot of money that we've still got hanging out there. I'm not real worried about it, but I can't ever remember a tournament this late in the season where we've had that many outstanding sponsors. So if you've got any of those, please get on the phone and call them and tell them to please get their check in. Thank you.
Because this is Happy Bucks, and we want to make sure Larry's happy.
A few of us ladies in the room had the opportunity to go on Tuesday to the Women in Rotary event, celebrating 35 years of Women in Rotary. It was really amazing to see that many people in a really cool space, actually. But to celebrate what is being done by the Rotary community and what's especially being done by women in the Rotary community. No offense, you guys, but it was a super exciting event to be part of. And I think it was really actually well covered by the media as well. So excited.
Love it.
Awesome.
Women, let's go.
I've got $5. I have confirmed, Larry, that the check is in the mail for First Horizon sponsorship. So appreciate that. I am wearing, and I also will come back to Larry in a second, but I'm wearing my Father Ryan high school pullover today because last Friday night, Father Ryan High School beat Montgomery Bell Academy in football for the first time since 1998. And they play every year. I don't know if that's more sad or exciting, but it's exciting if you're a fan of Father Ryan High School. I, however, did not get to see it because I was in Auburn, Alabama, taking my son to his official visit. And then I went to the football game the following day against Arkansas, which was less happy. But I am proud of Larry for still supporting Auburn University with his attire today.
Wow, that's a good Father Ryan over NBA. That's impressive.
Well, guys, I just want to say, like, there's many times where I stood up on a Friday and I said I was really happy, but no more than right now. Like, I don't know if you recall a few weeks ago when we were here and Michael was on his phone during Happy Bucks and was playing a YouTube video or something. And then he proceeded, then someone gave him the microphone and then proceeded to like throw the Ohio State Buckeyes under the bus and said that I think he said we suck or something like that. Well, that's fine. And then God delivered just amazing that same weekend. Another thing that you guys may not know about me, obviously I'm a huge Buckeye fan, but I'm also a gigantic Northern Illinois University Husky fan. And actually, we have let's just honor our Huskies. 16-14. They go into South Bend, Indiana. That same Saturday, that weekend, and destroy the so-called Notre Dame Fighting. And I wish we could just have that meeting right then, that next day, because I was so excited. I've been looking. I know, and that's why I waited. I wasn't, but we didn't forget. So I say I'm very happy.
I think that was at least 5 or 10.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey, that's a 20 right there.
That's a 20. Okay. All right. He owes us 15.
So I was reading the Cessna Pilots magazine. I get this in the mail, and the first thing I see, it says flights to end polio. So I opened this thing up and I said, well, must have, this sounds like Rotary. Well, sure enough, it's all about two septuagenarian Rotarians from Iowa who decided they were going to fly around the world in a single engine plane to raise money for to
Wow.
have polio, to end polio, to flight to end polio. So they started in 2018. They were going to start in, they came up with the idea in 2018. 2020, they were going to start, and guess what happens? COVID. Okay, so they're going to go 2022. Can't do it because Ukraine, so they can't fly over Russia. So finally, in May of 2023, they start, and they go all the way around the world. It's all about how they do that logistically. It's not an easy thing to do. Only 270 people living right now have ever done this. And so they finished in July, and they were going to raise $30,000. That's what they want to do, raise $30,000 for polio. And by the end of it, and because they were going to pay for the trip itself and then just raise funds, the current raise is $2 million.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's happy. Anyone else?
I wish we can beat our goal like that for the golf tournament.
Okay, Zach's, treasurer got a $15 IOU from Zach.
In the theme of potentially unpopular sports teams, I'm happy that the Mets are going to take a doubleheader off the Braves on Monday and move on to the wild card playoffs.
Mm.
Who else? That was a lot of happiness. Back to you, Fez.
Love that happiness. Before we introduce our district governor, I'd like to invite Darrell Ailshie up to give a presentation to one of our Rotary members.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation, it is my honor today to make a presentation to one of your members. As you all know, the Rotary Foundation is the largest philanthropic organization in the world, one of them. It has one of the highest ratings from Charity Navigator and any philanthropy, any foundation, anywhere. The money that you give goes for the purpose it's given for. A lot of transparency, a lot of oversight, as we would expect as Rotarians. And today, because of their generosity and their dedication to the foundation, Jeff, if you would come forward, please. It is indeed my honor and privilege to present a Paul Harris Fellow +5 to Mr. Jeff Brown. Rotary shirt's pretty good there, Jeff. Yeah.
It's iron plated, thanks to Laura.
Buys
only quality stuff.
That Kevlar there's pretty tough.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your dedication to the foundation.
My pleasure.
All right, I'd like to have Jordan come up and introduce our speaker.
Hello and happy Friday, rainy Friday at that. I have the pleasure today of introducing the gentleman you just saw up here, Mr. Darrell Ailshie. Darrell was born and raised in Eastern Tennessee. After high school, he attended the University of Tennessee, earning a Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Education. Darrell has worked in agricultural related fields his entire career and retired after 31 years as general manager of Tennessee Livestock Producers, a wholly owned service company of the Tennessee Farm Bureau. He has since gone back to work for the University of Tennessee as an agriculture extension agent in Murray County. Darrell and his wife Jody have 2 children and 3 grandchildren. Darrell serves as an elder at Westminster Presbyterian Church, served on the National Livestock Producers Board of Directors from 1997 to 2021, and is currently chair of the NLPA Sheep and Goat Innovation Fund. He is a past chair of UT Agriculture Alumni Council, past member of UT College of Veterinary Medicine Board of Advisors. He has an active real estate and cattle dealer licenses and is a Tennessee colonel. There's a long laundry list of other Rotary accolades that I could go into, but he has asked me to make that short. But I want to point out one because I think Larry will appreciate it. Darrell joined the Columbia Noon Rotary Club in 2010, all because of an ask. So without further ado, Mr. Darrell Ailshie.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that very much. I enjoyed the conversation at lunch, and congratulations on the new arrival. I'm soon to add number 4 grandchild. That's why I was looking at my phone. I wasn't trying to get a fine. My daughter and her husband, he's military, and they're stationed at Redstone right now, and she's just a day or two past due. And so we keep looking every time my little phone buzzes, I'm going, oh no, we're at the hospital. You know, I think I'm more nervous than she is, but she's bringing me another little grandson, and I'm just anxious to get the little rascal here so I can spoil him. You know, I've got plans for those boys. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the opportunity to be here today, but I thank you for the opportunity to be your district governor. It's not wasted on me that you only have one district governor. And to be standing here today is very humbling. As we prepare for our role as district governor, you know, we were selected 3-4 years ago. And so we go through a lot of trainings. One of the final things that we do is that we gather with all the district governors from around the world, come together to meet with the Rotary International president, to set our goals, to get ready for the year, and we come back and launch our president-elect's training and all that good stuff. So while we're there, this event, we get some one-on-one time with Stephanie, our international president. And so she kind of gives us some directions. We take orders. There's 3 things that she wanted me to do as I go around and visit clubs. The first thing is, she has asked that I share with you that she wants to continue the work started by last year's Rotary International President, Gordon McAnally, in the areas of mental health. As you may recall, Gordon McAnally lost his brother to a mental health issue. Rotary International has started a lot of great initiatives in the area of mental health awareness, and she wants to continue those. The second thing is that she wants to continue and grow the focus on empowering women and children around the world and here at home. And the third thing she asked to do, she said, Darrell, when you visit with your clubs, do this for me. Tell them thank you for being Rotarians. Thank them for the good work that they do in their communities, and thank them for making the difference in the lives of people that you touch. Stephanie she's a genuine leader. She's a compassionate Rotarian. She's engaging. She comes from a small club in rural Pennsylvania, but I'm telling you, we couldn't have a better. She is a powerhouse for Rotary, and I'm proud to be on her team. Her passion is contagious. Today, for my part, as district governor, and I'm tied to this post here. Now, listen, when I give speeches, I don't stand still. I got to walk around. So today, I'm trying to watch this camera and be still. But today, I want to have more of a conversation than a speech. I want us to talk a little bit about Rotary and about the things that we're doing. You know, Jordan mentioned I grew up in East Tennessee, and my dad and my granddad both had little country stores. And at my dad's store, when I was growing up, he had one of the only TVs in our community. We lived back up in the mountains, and the church was on one side of the road, and my dad's store was on the other. And that was community central. But Dad had one of the only TVs, and at night, people would come in to watch the newscast out of Knoxville. They would watch Walter Cronkite afterwards. And then they would retire to the front porch of that store, and they would solve the world's problems through conversation, engaging each other. What did y'all think? Well, Lord, who knew that was going on? Well, we could fix that. I told somebody the other day, Mr. Bowers, I said, I can take 10 good Rotarians and 10 good farmers and put them on a bus. Now, this is not political. Please don't take it that way. I could put those 10 and 10 on a bus. We could leave here on a Thursday headed toward DC. By the time we got there, we could have most of the list checked off of problems that needed to be solved. On Friday, we would do the rest of them. On Saturday, we would start to work on the budget. On Sunday, we'd go to church. Monday morning, we could finish balancing the budget, and we'd be home by Monday night. And I'm convinced that that's true. Because it's conversation. It's common sense. Rotarians, that's what we excel in. Is having conversations, bringing common sense to the table, and finding solutions in our community. And I'm proud of that. You know, it was mentioned 35th anniversary of Women in Rotary. I don't know what took so long, but I'll tell you what, I've got 23 presidents this year out of the 58 clubs. I've got 23 female presidents. I would not want to do Rotary without them, I'm telling you. I would not want to do Rotary without them. And you were among some of the best the other night. I want to ask you a question, then we'll tell you a little story. Who should be here today as a member of your Rotary Club, besides the new member you're going to get? No pressure, right? Nothing like being singled out. But who should be here in this club as a Rotarian that's not? You know, Jordan mentioned that I joined Rotary because of an ask. Let me tell you that story. When growing up in East Tennessee, Dad had the grocery store. We also farmed a little bit. And Dad traded a few horses, and he was in the horse business. So I've been riding horses ever since I've been big enough to get a leg across one. So Columbia has a big 3-day horse show. That's one of my favorite times of the year. I get to go sit under that big tree at the park, watch the horse show for 3 nights, and it is just so refreshing for me. Well, I'm headed to the horse show. Get this picture now. I'm walking down to where I sit. I look over. There's my veterinarian and the guy that runs a local print shop. They've got a 16-foot flatbed trailer. They've got about 6 or 7 gas grills, duct tape, bungee corded, and roped to the side of that thing, and smoke is going as high as you can see it. They got hamburgers and hot dogs going, and I speak and I say, guys, you look like y'all could use some help. Dr. Locklear said, you dang right, come on. So I jumped up there and started cooking hamburgers with them. We had the best time, except for this one lady kept coming out of the back of the concession stand. Just every 5 minutes, I need more hamburgers. Where's my hot dogs? Where's the country ham? I don't know who she was, but if I could have found her. We cooked hamburgers and hot dogs all night. So at the end of the night, we did what we normally do. We're sitting on the end of the trailer, sitting on the tailgate of the pickup, just relaxing, kind of reminiscing about the evening. And Dr. Locklear looked at me and he said, Darrell, how long you been in Columbia? At that time, I said, Dr. Locklear, I've been here 15 years. He said, you belong to a civic club? I said, Dr. Locklear, I'm sorry, I don't know a thing about them. Jim Stoltz, the guy that runs a print shop, before Dr. Locklear could say a word, said, well, you can be my guest at Rotary next week. I said, okay. I mean, those are my friends. Those are people I like, respect, been working with all night. They want me to come to Rotary. I'm going to Rotary. I haven't looked back. I have not looked back. An ask from a friend. So let me go back to my original. Who should be here that's not? Somebody came to your mind. Somebody. So let's give that simple ask. Bring them to your club. You know, in our district, we've got clubs as big as Nashville with 430, 40 members. We've got some small rural clubs that have 8 and 9 members. You think Rotary's done the same in each of those clubs? Heck no. But you know what? They're doing Rotary the way their community needs them to do Rotary. They're touching the lives of the people that need to be touched in their communities. You know, Mr. Bowers, we don't have a prescription that the district governor comes out with an edict and says, you're going to do Rotary this way. Heck no. We do Rotary the way you want to do Rotary, because this is your club. Without you, there would be no district governor. There would be no Rotary International. It happens right here. It happens because you make it happen. I thank you for that. You know, as mentioned, Jeff mentioned RLI. He's been a great asset to us in RLI. We hope you'll send some folks to that. You know, you take a club like this, which is a dynamic club. You're one of the leaders in the district in so many ways. You all lead the district. But with that comes some responsibility. To keep the leadership pipeline full, to keep the culture of the club going, to keep folks informed so that they learn the traditions and the histories of the club. But we also need you in the district. We need you there to set example for other clubs, to mentor other clubs, to be a resource. To be a resource. So I'm asking you, send some folks to RLI. Come to the mid-year conference, November 8th and 9th in Cool Springs. Come to Paris Landing, June 6th and 7th of next year for my district conference. I know you got some folks in grad school this year. Thank you for doing that. I met with your board earlier and we talked a little bit about the business of Rotary, and let me tell you, that's not the fun side. That's not the flashy, feel good, but it's the necessary side to have leaders that can take care of the business of your club, because it is big business. Rotary is a business. We got to protect what we have and manage what we have. And I'm going to tell you right now, you've got an awesome board. You've done a great job selecting leaders, and I applaud you for that effort. There's two things, excuse me. I was telling the board, I've been on the road all week. I started in West Tennessee, so I've been in West Tennessee all week. Got home late last night and then headed out. My club met at 6:30 this morning, so I was there and then up here. But when I was checking in the hotel Monday night in West Tennessee, and I don't stay at 5 stars, but I don't stay at roadside, either. Well, when I went to work for Farm Bureau, Mr. Robert Waddell was my supervisor, and I was on the road a lot then for them. And he told me, he said, now, Darrell, he said, we can't afford for you to be staying at these big high dollar hotels. But he said, I don't want you walking out of a hotel where somebody's watching to see who's coming out behind you either. So I got the message, there's a sweet spot right in there. So I try to find those places. We don't need the district governor doing that, right, Mr. Bauer? So as I was going down to get my room, the exterminator was coming out. I said, is there a problem? He said, no, I'm just doing my monthly deal. Well, it's just my luck. Boy, it was strong. It was burning my eyes. I turned the fans on. I went and ate dinner and stayed gone 2 or 3 hours and came back. But I've had this ever since. But I haven't had any bugs. There's 2 new initiatives I want to talk to you about. One is a Rotary International initiative. It's called the Peace Builder Club. It's an application process that clubs make that takes the tenets of positive peace that Rotary has used around the world, puts it in a little training module, brings it down to the club level so that you can use it in your programming, in your work in the communities, to use those tenets of positive peace as you go out as a Rotary club. Not a heavy lift, and I suspect you're probably already doing most of it, if not all of it. So I'm asking clubs, if that's something that you would like to have and like to do, I'd like for you to consider. Kelly O'Connor from the Nashville Club is our district point person on Peace Builder clubs. We have 14 inquiries. We have 2 that have completed the process, and I've got seven clubs that are in some level of the application right now. If you think that's something to work for this club, I would encourage it. The other one is empowering women and children in mental health. As was mentioned, I'm an elder at my church, and one of the things that we do is we work with our local domestic abuse folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I had no idea when we got involved. I had no idea. So it put me to thinking. Awareness. Could we ask Rotary clubs to use those folks in our program, to bring them in so that we raise, we're not going to solve the problems of foster care and adoptive services, domestic abuse. But is there something we can do? I don't know. I don't know. But we won't know until we find out exactly what's going on in our community. So I'm just asking you, would you consider including those in your programming? Let me give you a quick example. Lawrenceburg Club. Stacy O'Neill is an attorney down there, and she works with adoptive and foster care. She got the local foster care folks to come do a program for their club. At the end of the presentation, somebody said, that foster care is in the state legislature, it's in the news, we're throwing money at it, we're writing laws about it, and we still can't solve it. It's a huge problem. What can we as a Rotary Club, what can we do? The lady said, you have some gently used suitcases, or can you buy some new suitcases at Ollie's or Big Lots or some of the discount stores? And they're going, suitcases? What in the world? She said, yeah. Said most of the kids that transition in and out of foster care have everything they own in a Walmart bag or a pillowcase. A suitcase, a simple suitcase with their name on it, with their clothes in it, that becomes theirs. The question is that the seed? Is that the seed that could foster some self-esteem, some personal pride, that could change the direction and the thinking of a child? I don't know. That's beyond me, but it's worth a try. Now, I'm not saying we need to buy suitcases. I'm saying that example came from awareness through a program. So I'm asking, would you consider adding them to your programming list? This club's getting ready to celebrate its 50th anniversary. It was chartered October the 17th, 1973. Charles Lane was your first president, and he served 2 years. Steve, it could be a 2-year trick for you, buddy. Y'all are 100% Paul Harris Club. In 2005 and 2006, you've got 26 major donors in your club. Phenomenal. Y'all have given $1.7 million to the Rotary Foundation. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you for that. We'll give you a little homework. I know my time's running short. Let me give you a little homework. Samuel Pierpont Langley and the Wright brothers. Anybody heard this story? Said the Wright brothers, you know the end of the story. Where's my pilot? You know the end of the story. Samuel Pierpont Langley was a prestigious individual in D.C. He was known in all the right circles, knew all the right people. He had funding from Congress. He had funding from the Department of the Navy. All the best mathematicians, all the best engineers were on his team. They were charged with finding flight. The Wright brothers. They run a bicycle shop. Half the people on their crew didn't have a high school education. Who got there first? We know the end of the story. What I want you to read about and study about is the motivation. Samuel Pierpont Langley, in my opinion, was a me guy. Looking for headlines. Me, I want to be the first. I want this. It's me, me, me. Me and my team, the Wright brothers were, hey, what's this? Am I close? Y'all have heard the stories about the Wright brothers. I think they were having a good time. But they were there for the greater good. It was a service aspect. It's a little bit about Rotary. I think if Rotarians were trying to discover flight, they'd be working for the Wright brothers. But read that story. It's a fun story. Look for the motivation. In closing, my background, my education, my career, everything about me has been in agriculture. If it wasn't for agriculture, I wouldn't have any culture, Dr. Bowers. I've been fortunate over my career to be asked from time to time to give speeches around the country and to ag groups and so forth. And there's one thing I always like to close with. There's two groups in the United States, two groups that make up less than 2% of the population. The American farmer and the American military. They protect us and they feed us. They deserve our respect and our support. Sid Miller, the Commissioner of Agriculture for the great state of Texas, has a saying, and I don't want to offend anybody with this. That's why I'm telling you it's Sid's saying and not mine. Sid says, without the American soldier and the American farmer, we would be hungry, naked, sober, and afraid. You're supposed to laugh at that. He's probably not wrong. He's probably not wrong. But today, through the magic of Rotary, I'd like to add the 1.4 million Rotarians around the world to that list. I'd like to add you to that list. Every minute of every day, Rotary feeds somebody, houses somebody, vaccinates somebody, performs surgery, comforts, clean water. If we had the list in a scroll and we pulled the rope, it would roll out and down the steps and across the creek. Every minute of every day, Rotarians are doing those things. That's you. That's you. Thank you. Thank you. When I was president of my club, I always closed each meeting with a cowboy quote of the week, and I got to get my hat. This is John Wayne. You can't quote John Wayne without a hat on. John Wayne says, if you ain't making dust, you're eating dust. Rotarians, I want to challenge you today to continue to make some dust in this community, continue to do the good work that you do. I'm humbled and honored to be your governor, and I thank you for this privilege, but more importantly, I thank you for being Rotarians.
Anybody have any questions for Darrell? Any questions at all? Tom?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I agree.
Thank you, Darrell. We really appreciate it. Oh, go ahead, please.
I appreciate you coming and visiting with us today, and your background in agriculture is very interesting. I am a city boy, an engineer, and my dad is an engineer, well, now retired engineer, but a country boy. And on some acreage we have in North Carolina, he's got about 20 head of cattle, Texas Longhorns. I'm curious, in your background, what, if you can recommend, what have you found to be, I guess, the best breeds when it came to cattle, or what have people generally like to raise? My dad just likes raising cows either way. He just loves the experience.
Great question. Good ag question. We have a lot of breeds of cattle, and we have a lot of breeds of cattle for a reason. They're adapted to the areas that they come from. We got the heavy-eared cattle for South Florida, South Texas, for South America. We've got different breeds for different places. In this country, we've been fortunate that the English breeds do real well on our grass and our native forages. Longhorns are used here primarily as a first cross on heifers because they're easy calvers, smaller birth weights. But the Angus, Hereford, Charolais, are kind of the standbys for this area, but they all eat good.
Everybody know what he just said about all the different cows? I have heard of a heifer before. Careful. I'd like to, Aaron, thank you very much for attending. Really appreciate it. Love to have you back. I knew that thing was gonna rain. If there's nothing else for Good Rotary, we are adjourned. And before that, please help with the chairs, stacking 8. And thank you very much. Y'all have a great day. Have a good weekend.